I have a question for Ashley, because I agree with what you said earlier, which is that in many cases, the T is where we have to lean in more of LGBTQ plus in terms of equal rights and the movement. And I'm curious, because I'd like to be a better ally to the trans community, how you would advise people like me and others listening to the panel that we could be a better ally.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. So I mean, I have like this huge list. I always say that like, you know, LGBTQ plus culture, right? We have all the colors, right? And it's all these colors for all the flags, and there's a lot of flags out there other than just the standard rainbow one, right? Um, but one color that I don't really see in any of the LGBTQ plus colors is I don't really see gold a lot, and I always say so. I say allies are golden, and and I think it's really important. Like simple things like just being friendly, smiling, right? Recognizing them, asking people how they're doing. These are like in today's world, like simple, easy ones, but also like to create change in organizations. Um, a lot of organizations like pride themselves on how long they've been around, right? And the longer you've been around, the more you could have potential systemic racism, or you could have systemic, right, other problems, right? And so realizing that in order to make change, you have to have allies. And it can't always be the trans person that's standing up and on the soapbox and saying, "Oh my goodness, we have to educate, we have to empower, we have to enlighten all these people." So you have to be able to plant seeds within the organization to create change.
Mhm.
Um, a couple of things that I always do is try to find those allies and get them to help to empower others, and also get involved in the community with community organizations. I think is really important. I mentioned a few trans-led organizations. Like Trans Can Work is a great project. If you're ever thinking about like really helping the trans community, right? It's usually around jobs is kind of the biggest thing that you can do to help the trans community. Host a career fair for the trans community. Start your own. You walk into any LGBT center in anywhere that has one, and you could say, "Hey, let's do a trans career event," and try to get people excited and share opportunities is huge. And then also lastly, I'd probably say if they help them start their own company is a potential opportunity as well. I helped to create the Trans Inclusion Task Force for the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. And we started trying to count trans-owned businesses, and I say trans is trans and gender nonconforming, kind of all under one umbrella. We started trying to count them and get them to be empowered to be getting their supplier diversity registration, so we could have more and be able to say how many trans-owned businesses are out there. And we actually grew the certification list by more than 400% in the last year and a half. So track data and metrics surrounding the work that you do in the community, because if you can give a number to it, it tends to have a lot more power, and it makes it more powerful.
Awesome. Thank